Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a game 2 between Happy and Rine. Game 2 taking place here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. This was from ESL, or at least they're using the ESL version of the map pool. So yeah, European Sports League, I believe that's what the acronym stands for. There's so many acronyms, ESL, TSL, GSL, that I sometimes get confused on what the SL in particular stands for. We have Happy spawning as, or wow, they changed their colors on me. Oh goodness. Okay, so we have Happy spawning as the red Terran player. Meanwhile, we have Rine spawning as the yellow Protoss. I guess I can go ahead and change that up for you guys right now. If any of you guys are like, oh, I really want to see those colors correctly, yeah, here you go. I will be updating these just for you. And now there it is. So Rine spawning as the yellow Protoss player here, as Happy is over here on the north side. And I believe some of you guys said you guys wanted a little bit more game sound. So I normally try not to do this in the middle of something, but yeah, not much really happening in the early portion of the game anyways. So Happy building a supply depot. We are going to be getting a pylon over here. So it is going to be a pretty standard builds coming in from both sides. I would be more than shocked if Rine actually tried to go for a Nexus first here in the Xel'Naga Caverns. Yeah, opting to go for a gateway instead. So it is going to be gateway first here in the Xel'Naga Caverns, and then there's that assimilator. So Rine going back to a more traditional build order. Meanwhile, Happy also doing a traditional build order as well, going for a barracks and then followed by a refinery. So Rax Refinery here in the Xel'Naga Caverns so far. Most likely we should be getting a supply depot on after the barracks and upgrading to an orbital command. Now, Xel'Naga Caverns, a map that pretty much needs no introductions. Probably one of the few maps that a lot of players really like to play on from Blizzard. And they didn't think there was any issues or very little issues. A very balanced map, a very easy to establish natural expansion. A little bit of a walk for Zerg players, but still nothing too bad. And then a lot of options for a possible third base, both blocked by destructible rocks, but Zerglings could try to peck down these rocks here, or Marines and Marauders can try to peck down the rocks here as you build your command center and lift it off, or move over in a Nexus. SCV now just wandering around on the inside and is going to see a second assimilator, and I really like this build in the double gas opening from Protoss. The reasoning behind this is, even if you go double gas, your opponent doesn't really know what you're trying to go for. You could try to do a feint and go for a lot of sentries and then expand, like 2-gate double gas expansion with sentries, meaning that you will not be spending that many minerals, and then you still have a very decent amount of energy on your sentries in order to be able to fend off attacks. Meanwhile, back over here, we are getting a bunker up on that high ground, ensuring that the Zealots have a very difficult time trying to get any damage. The Zealot now chasing after that SCV, but unfortunately the Zealots does not have the legs upgrade and will never be able to catch up. But no, we are going to be seeing a Stargate. Okay, so yeah, this is one of the, going back to that double gas opening, this is one of the reasons why I like the double gas opening. Even if you see double gas, you don't know what he's going for until he builds that third building. After that gateway, after that cybernetics core, unless you catch what building is being placed down, you don't really know what he's trying to go. He could be going for a Nexus, or he could be going for a Stargate with Void Rays. That Void Ray would perhaps be a very effective harassment technique. And we also see Happy now getting a starport as well, and it looks like he may be doing that tech lab swap once more. And just very curious as to what Happy is going to be able to do in this particular matchup. It looks like a very similar build, almost the same exact build that he used last time on Tall to Remalter, opting to go for a cloaking field first before training up that one Banshee. The Banshee now trained up, now being queued up as supply depot now coming into play, and you also see a significant armor advantage. The Phoenix now on the field looking to see what damage it can do, and it at this stage, perhaps he thinks that Phoenix isn't actually a real Phoenix. Perhaps it's a hallucination Phoenix, as the Phoenix just going to be able to wander around the map and gain plenty of sight. There's nothing for it to naturally shoot out in order to really get anything there. And now seeing that there is a tech lab, and oh, he is now canceling his what's it called, his cloaking research and now building barracks instead, and perhaps Happy is going to change up his strategy. The Phoenixes would be able to simply destroy his Banshees very, very easily as a robotics facility now coming into play. Hellion quickly being picked up, Graviton beamed, and destroyed. And now Happy does in fact know that that one particular Phoenix is not a hallucination, as hallucinated units cannot use a Graviton beam. Units still wandering around back and forth as the Nexus now being placed down by Rine. Rine still aggressively expanding here as an SCV getting picked up and shot down once more. A Phoenix now trying to fly away once again as the command center was delayed for a little bit of time. And Rine just doing a good job getting a decent amount of map control here. And Rine looking very, very sharp at this stage as he is also going into a robotics bay and should be able to get Colossus in just a moment. The Phoenix is looking for another fresh target. Doesn't look like it will be able to do so. There is a missile turret in the mineral line to protect those SCVs from being Graviton beamed, or more essentially those mules from being Graviton beamed, as mules are a very, very efficient mining unit that wants to mine up as quickly as possible. Back over here, Marauders and Marines still looking around. Phoenix is going to come back in and not be able to do very much, as there are still a decent amount of Marines, but the gateways are still being warped in here. So we are now getting 4 gateways, 1 Stargate and 1 robotics facility, chrono boosting the robotics facility before actually queuing up anything into there. That's a horrible mistake, as a waste of 50 energy, but perhaps he was already at maximum energy anyways. And now finally training up a Colossus. That Colossus will definitely help out as a scanner sweep, revealing the robotics facility being chrono boosted, perhaps either training Immortals. I'm not sure if Happy actually sees the robotics bay down over here. Does he see it? Yes, he does see it. So most likely knowing that there are going to be Colossi coming out. You can see the reactor being built in preparation. Vikings need to be trained up. SCVs now being transferred from the high ground main expansion to the natural expansion location. And now the Phoenix is, quickly being forced to back off there. The Metavacs in a very, very nice situation will not take that much damage from those Phoenixes, as the Colossi are still on the move. Another Colossus trying to be trained, but once again supply locked. And also being chrono boosted once more. So Rine this time looking a little bit sloppy, using his chrono boost inefficiently and also getting supply locked. But Happy still behind on the food count by 23 food. That is not something you really want to be seeing. There is also an 11 worker supply difference between the two players, and also 11 army supply. So both sides are in both the economy and the army. Rine definitely has the advantage. Back over here, though, the Phoenix is still looking around the map and trying to scout out, as the Colossus now just sitting pretty, sitting high, and may try to destroy one of these sets of destructible rocks and establish an expansion in just a moment. Rine obviously getting a lot of energy and now should be able to continually chrono boost multiple Colossi out of the robotics facility, as the Marauders and the Marines now finish taking down these rocks here for another command center to be established. And the Marines, using Stim Pack, only able to get off a couple shots off onto the shields of the Phoenix, and now both sides just playing a very, very safe game. We are getting 1 pylon over here at close to the 3 o'clock expansion location. Meanwhile, a Marine now backing off. Another pylon going to be set up here, as there are no additional command centers being built. So no establishment of the high yield mineral just quite yet. Colossus are going to be moving in, and this is going to become a very, very effective strategy as the Vikings going straight after the Colossi there. It looks like the Colossi are now just going to run straight into the range, and now another Colossus may get taken down, as the Vikings perhaps should try to focus down the last Phoenix there. The Viking now trying to turn around, getting destroyed, but Marauders and Marines are still coming in. The Metavac now taking a beating, as well as SCVs coming off the mineral line, and Happy looking to be in trouble once more, as SCVs are able to stop this aggression. And now in comes another fresh Colossus. That Colossus looking to deal a lot of damage into here, as a bunker tries to be reestablished. And now this is not looking good for Happy at all. SCVs now making their way over. Marauders and Marines doing a lot of damage. The Vikings gonna finish off the Phoenix and now go after that Colossus, and the Stalkers all destroyed as well. Army-wise, Happy now in a much more dominant position with a decent-sized army. Vikings to counter the Colossus, and Vikings also to beat Phoenixes as long as they have superior numbers. Units still on the move. Marauders and Marines still making the trek down. No weapons upgrade just quite yet from Happy. Meanwhile, Rine, I do not believe has any upgrades either. You can see Rine now trying to destroy these sets of destructible rocks here as another pylon destroyed by Happy, and Happy now doing his counter push, destroying a couple non-critical pylons so far throughout this match, and now trying to make his way down. Army-wise, you do see that he has lost about 3,000 less so far in this battle, as the Vikings were able to turn around and get off a nice free round of attack almost, and now the Phoenixes being forced to pull back once more. More Zealots being added, so there are a decent number of gateways. You have 4 gateways, 5 gateways now constantly warping in Zealots very, very easily and very, very quickly. Medevac and Vikings now making their way out over here, and perhaps checking for an expansion down here. Will not see it, as Happy also building another command center. So Happy, who looked to be on the ropes for several stages throughout this matchup, now having a very, very sizable lead and advantage. We see that there's another command center already being built, so that his expansion is much further along than Rine's at this stage, as Colossus and Zealots are still being added to this army. Colossi, Phoenixes, Stalkers, as a Viking just sitting off over here as well. More Vikings being added, and double starports with 2 reactors. So that is going to be a lot of Vikings and medevacs to be trained up, and Happy just looking around to see if there's any additional units or any additional structures that he can use in order to slow down his opponent. Rine seems to be just mentally trapped right now. He wants to establish another nexus. He does still have a slight economic advantage with 10 additional harvesters, and by warping in this additional nexus here, he should be able to carry that and transition it into the mid-game and late game very well, especially with 3 Colossi. Those Colossi still do not have the extended thermal lance range, finally getting it now, and that range of 9 should be very beneficial towards those units. Phoenixes gonna quickly graviton beam up a Marine and take it down. Same thing over here, and now it is going to simply just deny sight. A Marine now trying to pull away, unable to really do so, as a Phoenix now running for its life and able to barely retreat home, sitting at 34 hit points, and all of his shields already destroyed. Nexus now being warped in on this low ground expansion at the 5 o'clock location, as Rine now trying to transition and figure out what exact his strategy is. Happy, on the other hand, able to catch up in terms of army size now. 4150 with 1775 in gas, as this orbital command now going to be established. So interestingly enough, Happy did not turn this into a planetary fortress, left it as an orbital command, or upgraded it to an orbital command instead, and it's going to be much, much easier for Rine to use gateway units to destroy that planet, or to destroy that orbital command. Planetary fortresses generally deal a significant amount of damage towards gateway units. Missile turrets now coming online as well. 12 Vikings in the air as well, so those missile turrets should be able to act as a stopper, or at least a deterrent, for those Colossus, as the Colossi currently do not have a range of 9. Oh no, they do have a range of 9 now, as that research has been completed. Rine already establishing this base here, and now sitting at 61 harvesters compared to 57. Both players just sitting in their base, enjoying the show, and not really doing very much of anything. Normally, I would say the longer the game goes, the better it would be for a Protoss player, as the Protoss player is able to use warp gates to instantaneously replenish his army, as warp gates front load all of their building time. You can see one pylon down over here, which will get destroyed. Phoenix is still looking around, and with those Phoenixes there to absorb some of the damage from those Vikings, those Colossi are going to have a bigger party with their extended thermal lance ranges and be able to swipe and destroy mass Marines and mass Marauders. A pylon over here will quickly get spotted by Happy and destroyed. Down it goes, as the Vikings now pull away once more. We are now up to 6 Colossi, and now almost sitting at, what, 8,000 resource army with still 30 food left to be able to build additional units. More Colossi and Phoenixes still being added. Level 1 armor, level 1 weapons, air and ground now being researched, as well as we are now getting the level 1 ship upgrades for Terran. And back over here, we still see a double starport with reactors, but not much is really being trained out of there. Currently supply locked at 169 or 169 over 169, now sitting at 179 over 193. So one more command center should do it, as the units are still looking to see where they can really perhaps move out to. Rine now going to lose this Nexus very, very easily. No, hasn't lost it yet, as the Vikings doing a great job. The Phoenixes now attacking and moving and getting a lot of damage onto those Vikings. The Vikings perhaps wanting to get some damage onto a Colossus. And now down goes one Colossus there. So wow, 17 Vikings doing the job and simply able to destroy multiple Colossi very easily. And now we can see the Marauders are coming in, destroying this particular expansion attempt, as Rine now on the ropes. He does have a decent sized army, but he doesn't want to engage, and I think this is just a lack of confidence right now. There are so many Colossi here that the infantry wouldn't really stand a chance, but there are so many Vikings in the air as well that those Vikings are not going to really be able to do much. All I could say is, if Rine actually went hallucinated Colossi, that would be a very, very interesting choice, as hallucinated Colossi would simply melt away or just absorb a lot of that damage from those Vikings very early on and very easily. You can see another Nexus over here being reestablished. No Nexus over here, so every expansion except for the two far side ones have been mined out, as a Viking almost able to shoot down another Colossus there. And now Rine definitely losing his mojo, as he is not able to control his Colossi nearly as well. 36 food worth of army, unable to really fight back and do much of anything. Colossi now quickly coming in, and there's one round of attack, and down it goes, another round of attack. So mass Vikings just doing the job, shutting down Colossus after Colossus. And by having Rine not engage at this stage, that's going to be very sad, as now the Marauders and the Marines are now coming in from the far side to try to put some pressure in. Nexus once again canceled, and still Rine is a bit of trouble, as the Vikings once again battling it out. The Phoenix is trying to deal as much damage as possible, but with so many Vikings constantly being added to this army, those Colossi, who are slower than the majority of the army, are just getting torn apart as they're being left behind. Multiple Vikings just getting shot out of the sky. Rine still doing a great job trying to pull away, as Happy now sitting on close to or exactly 21 Vikings, and now getting the level 2 weapons upgrades to boot. A command planetary fortress. Wow, with the twin biggest cannons already on the top, and now ready to protect it from any zealots and stalkers, as the units are slowly making their way out throughout the field. There is also an expansion attempt here by Rine expanding to the 3 o'clock location, as the main Stalker army over here is just constantly on the move. Protoss army definitely does have much more money in the bank, so that is going to help him out when the time comes to replenish after both sides exchange battles. Nothing currently being queued up at all in the barracks, as the units are once again in the battle. Both sides battling it out. EMP shockwaves hitting a lot of units there, so the Ghost worth their weight, destroying all the shields of multiple units. And now the Vikings joining in on the ground mode to get this party started, and those Vikings are now going to have a very, very difficult time, as those Vikings and Marauders just simply finishing off this battle with little to no effort. And wow, nicely done by Happy, constantly being able to shut down his opponent's expansions, and now finally getting that economic lead, even though we see a much larger more money coming in. But no, Rine says GG. So this was game 2 in a best of 3 series. Stay tuned for game 3 between Happy and Rine. Happy able to even it up.